Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And welcome back to another video right here on YouTube.com. You already know who I am, Mr. Controversy. And the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is, of course, the Lightning Flash update for January 19th, 2018. We are headed to the Royal Rumble. And boy, oh boy, do I got some news for you guys. But first things first, as always, is the weekly show reviews. Now, there were no tweets for NXT. And unfortunately, I have to announce that I am currently taking a college night class. It is a doubleheader. It is 2 hours and 40 minutes. And unfortunately, I will not be able to tweet for NXT until May. Now, obviously, there could be an occasion where class is canceled, and here and there, I'll be able to get some tweets out to you guys during the full hour of NXT. But for the majority of the next 16 weeks, don't expect tweets during NXT on Wednesdays. I'm not happy about it, but unfortunately, you know, such is life. Such is life. Don't worry, I will still be able to get an NXT review for you, as I always do with my weekly show reviews. And why don't we jump into it? Monday Night Raw. It had its highlights. It had some decent wrestling. All in all, it was a missable show. It was a missable show. You didn't miss much. You missed a few things. Mainly, the show was about Braun Strowman. He kicked off the show. Basically, he was telling a story about a monster, a machine, and a beast. And the monster, among men, reigned supreme over the machine and the beast. Kurt Angle came out with security, basically stating, you put lives in danger. You put lives in danger. You basically took the show hostage. Braun Strowman was, I do whatever I want, when I want, and however I want it. Strowman, he got fired. He got fired, and afterwards, Strowman just went on the rampage of all rampages. Destroyed the security, literally flung the security guard at least 10 feet over a guardrail, and the security guard was at least 5 feet above the guardrail, and the security guard landed in a catering table. And after all the security have met the hands of Braun Strowman, Braun looked at the pile of bodies everywhere and goes, I ain't leaving till everyone gets these hands. And speaking of get these hands, yes, WWE has made a Braun Strowman Get These Hands t-shirt. Available on WWEshop.com. I'm going to see if I can get that ASAP. Titus Worldwide! Finally, they're starting to use Titus Worldwide. See, this is what I want. This is the exact type of thing that I've been preaching for. Utilize everyone that you have. I've always stated that if I was running the company, I would find a way to utilize everyone. There would never be such a thing as a jobber. The only jobbers there would be in the WWE is the ones that I pull off the streets or in the independent wrestling companies to job out to the guys like the Bludgeon Brothers. They're starting to utilize Titus Worldwide. They defeated a bar in a decent match. Apollo Crews, athletic as always. Titus O'Neil's starting to get back into the wrestling. Give an assist to Jason Jordan. He came out, caused a distraction for the bar. And it was Apollo that rolled up Titus for the win. So that's 2 weeks in a row. I assume that they are going to be putting Titus Worldwide in a possible tag team title match down the line. I assume when Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins defeat the bar at the Royal Rumble, they're going to face Titus Worldwide, and then ultimately they'll end up losing the titles at Elimination Chamber to Gallows and Anderson. All in all, it was a decent match. We go back to the, obviously, backstage area. I'm guessing this was pre-taped. Braun Strowman destroyed Kurt Angle's office, and then he went to catering, and he tossed Kurt Hawkins through the table, just tossing food everywhere, just beating the hell out of everything that he sees. And then he comes across a guy with a chocolate cake. Very nice chocolate cake. The guy's just standing there, petrified, shaking in his boots. Strowman just goes, grabs the cake, takes a bite out of it, and walks away. I legitimately thought that after Strowman walked away, I legitimately thought the guy was going to pass out. If I was running the show, I would have had that guy pass out. Very funny spot. I was laughing my ass off at that. Then we had a cruiserweight segment with Enzo, Nice, Cedric, and Goldust. Goldust basically stated that Cedric will beat Enzo at the Royal Rumble. Cedric defeated Tony Nese in a decent match. I would like to see a Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese feud in the near future for the Cruiserweight Championship. Would not mind that. Braun then was running through the production trucks. He scared off Kevin Dunn. Thank you, Braun Strowman. Flipped over a truck, destroyed everything, came out to the stage, and Strowman took Michael Cole by his shirt and was picking up Michael Cole like a suitcase with one arm. Michael Cole was dangling above the ground, and then Kurt Angle came back, rehired Strowman, and Strowman flung Michael Cole onto the security guards anyway. That was that. Then we get to Asuka and Nia Jax. They actually had a decent match as well, and it was stopped due to the referee because Nia Jax injured her leg when Asuka kicked her, and Nia Jax fell leg first in the gap between the steel steps and the LED post. And there's a reason why they did that, because they want to keep both women strong going into the Royal Rumble, which is understandable. Revival defeated Jobbers, promo by the Revival. The Revival, they're calling out all these legends and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure everybody who has a brain and everyone who has a sense of remembrance was thinking the same exact thing. God, I hope they don't do what they did with the Revival that they did with the Ascension. And the Ascension ended up facing the New Age Outlaws at the Rumble of 2015, the worst Rumble of all time. And it did nothing for them. And they ended up jobbing out to numerous other teams. So, I'm holding my breath on that one. Elias introduced The Miz in a song. Roman Reigns defeated The Miz Taraj. I did not give one single shit about this match. That was that. Sonya Deville defeated Sasha Banks. I expected Deville to get the win since she's up and coming. Woken Matt Hardy, his woken wisdom and broken brilliance. Ah, yes. Woken Matt Hardy defeated Heath Slater in lovely fashion, in wonderful fashion. Goldberg was announced for the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Goldberg. Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor in a very good match. This turned into a rematch from SummerSlam of 2016. We had Superplex Falcon Arrow combos. We had Pele kicks, apron running soccer kicks, and a very controversial ending as The Bar came out to try and do the same thing that Jordan did to them. All of a sudden, they start brawling with Gallows and Anderson. Referee is dealing with them on the outside. Jordan trips up Balor. Rollins, out of nowhere, pulls out the curb stomp. Yes, you heard me correctly. For those of you who missed Raw and those of you who did not look at the highlights, the curb stomp is back, ladies and gentlemen. And boy, oh boy, do I hope Rollins starts to utilize it more. By the way, Rollins, you haven't used the curb stomp in a while. You got to start using it a little more frequently so that way you can get the feel back into it. Try not to do it so hard, because I noticed when Rollins hit that curb stomp, he really drove his foot into Finn Balor's head, driving Balor's head right into the mat. And I noticed that Rollins, he kind of did it a little more brutally. He kind of put a little extra oomph behind that curb stomp. So, take a step back, Rollins. We don't want them taking away the curb stomp for good. Moving on to SmackDown. SmackDown was also a decent show, and I get why they did what they did, but I do not agree with the decision. New Day kicked us off. Xavier Woods was talking about the principle of pancakes. Jinder Mahal defeated Xavier Woods in the semifinals of the U.S. title tournament. It was a good match. I assumed that they were going to give Mahal a lot of the offense here to keep him looking strong, yada, 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 all that other good stuff. They announced the finals for next week as opposed to the Rumble. The women had Royal Rumble promos. This was basically a waste of everyone's time. Bobby Roode then defeated Mojo Rawley in another semifinal match. This was actually a decent match. Mojo Rawley, I said this before. Heel turn did Neville's career wonders. Heel turn did Seth Rollins' career wonders. Can you imagine what a heel turn will do to Mojo Rawley? And it showed. Mojo Rawley cutting some damn good promos. He had a decent match for him. For him, he had a decent match with Bobby Roode. And I assume that if they would have put it in front of a more lively crowd, they would have gotten a better reaction. But Bobby Roode defeated Mojo Rawley. The Singh brothers attacked. Mahal basically stated that he's going to win the tournament. And Bobby actually challenged Mahal to the match for that night. Mahal said no. Bryan came out and made the match official. I did not agree with that decision. Although I was excited for the match, I really didn't agree with that decision because of the fact that they built it for the Rumble. They built it for the Rumble and they didn't stick to the plan. I would have much rather had it at the Rumble. That way it would have given it more of a big fight feel. And it would have made it feel more important. But they ended up having it that night. The Riot Squad defeated Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. It wasn't bad, but then again, everyone knows Riot Squad and Absolution, they're done after the Rumble. They're not even going to make it to WrestleMania. Benjamin and Gable actually attacked the Usos. And a very good segment here with Benjamin and Gable attacking the Usos. And Gable goes, I know exactly who you are. Benjamin goes, former champions. That is actually one of the matches outside of the 2 Royal Rumbles that I'm looking forward to the most. Because Benjamin and Gable, they can out-wrestle anyone. Singly, in singles competition, and in tag team competition. Then you got the Usos, who are without a doubt the best tag team in the WWE right now. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Do not sleep on that match. Shane McMahon was at ringside with Daniel Bryan for the U.S. title match. And Bobby Roode defeated Jinder Mahal for the United States Championship. They could have made it a hell of a lot better. They really could have made it a hell of a lot better. I really don't like the fact that WWE just gives away moments for free when they really could build it up as something very, very special. It's almost like it was normal. I mean, I was happy. I was ecstatic. Bobby Roode winning the United States Championship. I've wanted Bobby Roode to win the United States Championship since his feud with Dolph Ziggler was over. And he does here. But then again, it didn't really feel all that special, mainly because WWE didn't present it in a special way. That's something they really need to change. But I'm not really going to go into that too much. I will send my congratulations to Bobby Roode. I was rooting for him this entire tournament. And most likely, Jinder Mahal will be the next United States champion, trust me. But if so, he needs to win it after WrestleMania. Bobby needs to have a long, drawn-out run with it. At least 100 days. At least 100 days with that United States championship. And then I will allow anyone, including Mahal, to take the title. 205 Live was cut short due to the Mixed Match Challenge, and if you missed the Mixed Match Challenge, Finn Balor and Sasha Banks defeated Nakamura and Natalya to advance. They pre-taped 205 Live, I heard. This is what they need to start doing from now on. 205 Live needs to be before SmackDown because the crowd is more into it. Grand Metalik defeated TJP in a good match. This went 5 minutes and the crowd was chanting Lucha Libre. They were popping for the big high flying spots. Grand Metalik won with the roll-up. I assume that they are going to continue the storyline with TJP. Gallagher had a promo backstage, basically stated that he will make Itami pay for injuring the Brian Kendrick. I'm telling you right now, if this does not lead to a no disqualification match between Gallagher and Itami, I don't really know what to tell you. This has all the makings of it. No disqualification. Then Cedric Alexander and Goldust hosted a little promo session. Basically resulted in the Zoe Train interrupting. Goldust then defeated the Zoe Train. And the Zoe Train consisted of Arya Daivari, Tony Nese, and Gabba Gulak, as Enzo likes to call him. And that basically was that. Assuming that this is all leading to Cedric Alexander winning the Cruiserweight Championship at the Rumble, with the Zo Train trying to distract him and Goldust coming to Cedric Alexander's aid. If they keep Goldust in this role, this could actually get him over in a managerial perspective. So I like what they're doing with Goldust and Cedric Alexander. On to NXT. So Sabatelli and Moss. I'm really starting to get into Sabatelli and Moss. They play a great heel tag team. They faced Heavy Machinery, the team that I originally thought was going to take the titles off the Authors of Pain, in a fun match. Very fun match. Otis Dozovic. I don't know how he's able to do the worm, or he calls it the caterpillar. I don't know how he's able to do half the shit that he does. But, please, Dozovic, teach me. Teach me the way of stakes and weights, man. Teach me the way. Sabatelli and Moss, they defeated Heavy Machinery with Moss getting a roll-up with his feet on the ropes. I assume that they are going to continue this mini feud for the time being. The Undisputed Era cut a promo backstage. Adam Cole basically stated that, he's going to basically erase Aleister Black from NXT. He's going to take Aleister Black to the limit. And Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly basically stated, whether it's the Street Profits or the Authors of Pain, same thing's going to happen. That happened last week. They are going to reign supreme, no matter what. Roderick Strong. Yes, Roderick Strong defeated Fabian Eichner in a decent match. I assume that they are going to continue pushing Fabian Eichner in this position where he has good matches with the up-and-comers or the established stars in NXT. But he doesn't actually win. I assume that they're going to put him in a Johnny Gargano type role. Roderick Strong won with the Stronghold, the Lion Tamer ripoff of Chris Jericho, if you want to call it that. And he called out Lars Sullivan. So, now, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk about the plans. I did not read the spoilers. I've been trying to stay away from that. I did not read the spoilers, but if I am to call what is to happen here, I would assume that Roderick Strong would face Sullivan sometime, I don't know, maybe down the line, maybe next week. Maybe Strong faces Sullivan next week. Or sometime after TakeOver. But at TakeOver, you have Sullivan versus Killian Dane. Because if Sullivan had a hard-hitting match with Ono at TakeOver War Games, can you imagine what Sullivan can do with a man like Killian Dane, who's without a doubt the most athletic big man that they got in NXT? I cannot wait for TakeOver. I'm being quite honest with you. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I told you guys this. Unfortunately, I will not be tweeting for TakeOver either. I know. I'm sorry, but I'm going out with my friends, going to see a comedian. If you ever heard of this guy, I believe his name is Vic. Vic or Vin? Probably Vin, most likely. Supposedly he's a very entertaining guy. I've never heard of him. Something new. But hopefully it turns out to be a funny show. TM61 had a promo package, a very good promo package, might I add. TM61, they should be returning sometime, I'm assuming, in the next few weeks. They've been out of action for over a year because Shane Thorne, I believe, got an injury. I believe he tore his ACL, but now they are back. And if they play their cards right, TM61, they could be the ones to take the titles off of the Undisputed Era. Perfect match right there. Lacey Evans defeated Aaliyah. This was basically a setup for Lacey Evans to call out Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, and Kairi Sane before Shayna Baszler came out. And she started to choke out Aaliyah. Moon made the save again. She challenged Baszler. Baszler was like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't got my wrestling gear. And you know what? You know something? It's going to be for your title. That's what I want. I don't have my gear, and it's going to be for your title. Moon goes, bring your gear. I'll bring my title, and I'm going to beat your ass. And it was made. William Regal made the match. Now, I wouldn't really get my hopes up at this point for Shayna Baszler, mainly because of the fact that Ember Moon just won the title. Ember Moon just won it at TakeOver War Games, and I have a feeling that they're just using Shayna Baszler as a bridge for now. And what they're going to do is they're going to have Ember Moon defeat Shayna Baszler. In turn, then, that would free up the spot for Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane would be facing Ember Moon at TakeOver New Orleans, which is without a doubt the money match for the women in NXT. Kairi Sane wins. She holds the title till Brooklyn, and all the while Shayna Baszler is being built up. She's training, she's getting better, and then she takes the title off Kairi Sane. In my opinion, that is the perfect route to go here. I originally thought it was going to be one of the members of the Iconic Duo to face Ember Moon, but looks like they're going with Baszler this early. No way, Jose! No way, Jose! Finally! Been waiting to see him since June. He lost a match against Dane and then he disappeared. No way, Jose returns next week. Actually, before we got to this segment with Gargano, Zelina Vega was backstage talking to William Regal, saying how Johnny Gargano is a loser and that Velveteen Dream should be getting the opportunity against Almas. Johnny came out with fumes coming out of his ears, figuratively. He came out and he was like, "This is not a fluke. Dream, I challenge you to the match and I'll put my opportunity on the line next week. I am not a failure. I'm not a loser. I am Johnny freaking Wrestling. God, I hope NXT makes a t-shirt out of that." Gargano and Dream next week, going to be a great match. The Authors of Pain then defeated the Street Profits. It was a decent match. I'm assuming that they're just using the Authors of Pain as a bridge, and the Street Profits and TM61 will clash somewhere down the line. TM61 or the Street Profits will be the team to take the titles off of the Undisputed Era. But for now, it's just going to be the Authors of Pain and the Undisputed Era at TakeOver Philly. Now, onto the news, rumors, and reports. Now, firstly, I got some news on Bobby Lashley. This is unfortunate news, actually. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that Bobby Lashley will be free to sign anywhere on February 1st. This means that he will not be a surprise entry in the Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, what can you do? What can you do? I'm not complaining too much. I'm really not complaining all that much. I would rather see Lashley go to NXT, because then you have a beast to feud with a beast. You could do Lashley and Lars Sullivan. Lashley could be the one to take the title off of Lars Sullivan. If you want to play your cards right here, if Lars Sullivan is the NXT champion somewhere in the next year and a half, Lashley's already in NXT, you put Lashley and Sullivan in the ring? That right there is a Clash of the Titans. And I know I use that term a lot, but for God's sakes, it's true. Oh, it's damn true. Moving on here, according to Fightful.com, by way of Cage Side Seats, Chelsea Green, Laurel Van Ness, a.k.a. Zack Ryder's girlfriend, will sign with WWE in 2018 as the company is impressed with her work in Impact Wrestling. I would love to see Chelsea Green in WWE. I think she has a lot of potential in WWE. I believe that she would fit great in NXT, possibly going up against Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship. I would love to see that. Got some more news from Cage Side Seats. It's news regarding Ethan Carter III, Mr. Trouble, Trouble, Trouble. EC3 has canceled a planned appearance on an independent show on January 28th. Of course, we all know that January 28th is the Royal Rumble. This very well has increased the speculation on him being in the Royal Rumble match. Ladies and gentlemen, EC3. I hope to hear those words in Philadelphia. I really hope to hear those words on my television screen from Philadelphia as Ethan Carter III returns to WWE at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be a great, great moment. It's going to be a career-defining moment for EC3. Now, moving on, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, I actually got some news on Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash will not be appearing at Raw 25. He claims that it is impossible for him, or guys like him rather, with his height and obviously his repackaged knee, to travel across the states or anywhere in the world on a plane healthy. It would be self-torture to him. But he has reported that he will be at WrestleMania 34. So for those of you who want to see Kevin Nash on WWE television, he will be at WrestleMania 34. Unfortunately, Kevin Nash will not be at Raw 25, but it's not bad. It's not the end of the world. We're going to have a lot more legends in there as well, both in the men's division and the women's division. And finally, when I heard this report, when I read this, there were two thoughts that ran through my mind. And I will read this to you. So apparently, former Iron Addicts gym owner, a former Iron Addicts gym owner named Richard Rodriguez recently spoke out about a DEA raid that occurred at the Miami-based gym about a year ago. He stated that the facility was raided due to a steroid production and distribution. Rodriguez claims that a handful of celebrities were involved as well, including the current Intercontinental Champion, Roman Reigns. Now, this is very shocking news nonetheless. And according to UpToSpeedSports.com, WWE is panicking right now. They are currently in a panic. I'm talking about papers flying in the air. Not really, but they are currently wondering what to do. And supposedly they have come to the conclusion that Roman Reigns could very well take the loss to The Miz clean on Monday Night Raw during the 25th anniversary of Raw and lose the Intercontinental title to The Miz, serve a 30-day suspension as well. Reigns actually responded to the report earlier this week by stating that he has never heard of Richard Rodriguez, which would seemingly rule him out of the list of celebrities. However, since he's had a violation before, anything is really possible. Now, when I heard this, two thoughts ran through my mind. Number one, I would hate for this to be true, mainly because of the fact that, I am sympathetic for the guy. I would hate to see a guy who's put on some good matches. He's a very good wrestler. I never discredit anyone's wrestling ability. I would hate for him to lose his job. A guy who's living his dream. This is the way he feeds his family. But then on the flip side, reason number two, or thought number two rather, that was going through my mind was, dear God, God Almighty Father, please let this be true. So Roman Reigns will not face Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. I'm currently battling between those two. At this rate, I would say that this report has a 50-50 shot at being true. Mainly because, like I stated before, Roman Reigns has had a violation before. So it's not uncommon that people who have had violations before will have a violation again. But at the same time, it really wouldn't make much sense claiming that Roman is involved in this steroid distribution. Mainly because he is, number one, the Intercontinental Champion. Number two, he stated that he has passed 11 drug tests, and he's never heard of Richard Rodriguez. And three, why would he do this again after he got suspended the first time around midway through 2016? So, signs are leaning towards this is just a bunch of BS. But like I said, anything could really be possible. Anything could really be possible. Now, also, supposedly Jey Uso, and I saw the mugshot, Jey Uso got arrested for driving under the influence. But then again, he was on SmackDown this past Tuesday, so it's really not that big of a deal. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DJ Storms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash Update next week. And do not forget to check out the rundown for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, which I will be posting midway through the week next week. And do not forget to check out the rundown for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which will be going up on January 27th, 2018. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Thank you so much for joining me here on YouTube. Have a great weekend, guys.